So your data is the most important part of your audience signal. If you're going to fill up anything, fill in your data. So let's just go back to this demo and look what that is. So do you have any first party data that can be used to help reach your customers? So first party data here means your previous customers. So there's two sides I like to use. If you have a lack of data, a lack of previous customer data, and you can't reach an audience size of 1,000, because you do need to have 1,000 users to make up an audience with Google, bear that in mind. If you don't have that, then these are the audience data segments I recommend you to use. So this is specifically for ecom. So what I recommend you to use is total website visitors over a 90-day duration. Okay, and then the second one I recommend you to use is the product page website visitors. So that specific product, if you're using it as a specific asset group, use that URL in when you're making up this audience here. And I like to do it over the last 90 days because when you're using website visitors, you want to keep the data fresh, and it always will refresh with a website visitors list like this. It's not like a CSV file that you have to refresh, it's always fresh. Okay, so that's a benefit of that. But this isn't the strongest sort of data. You really want to use your previous customer data. So the previous customer data I recommend you to use is these three if you're using ecom. So the first one is total purchases. Now that'll be all of your purchases inputted into a CSV file and uploaded to Google Ads. But the better way to do that, especially for ecom, because if you're running an ecom store, you're probably running email marketing using Klaviyo, MailChimp, or whatever. But most of these can be plugged into Google Ads, and you can pull lists from your email marketing software into Google that are live lists. And what we mean by live lists is they are automatically populated. So once you've made them, you do not need to refresh them. They're always going to have the freshest data in there possible, which is great because I don't like refreshing CSV files. They're a pain in the ass. I want it live, and it means it's guaranteed top quality. Okay, so these are the three I recommend: your total purchases, your specific product purchases, and the top 25% of spenders at your store. Now, how do you use these audiences, these data segments here? Well, I recommend you to do a couple of things. The first one I would populate all three into one audience signal. Then I would also run another asset group, which is just testing total purchases. Now I'll run another duplicate asset group that is just testing specific product purchases. Then I will also run another asset group that is just testing top 25% of spenders. Okay, it's just how you would run ad sets in Facebook ads. You would run these as your audiences and run them for 2 weeks, see which one performs the best, and turn off the other two. It's just as simple as that. It's creative testing. It's what you do to progress your account because you want to identify the data that resonates the best in terms of the algorithm and finds the best users who are going to come through with a purchase of your e-com store. Okay, so that's what I recommend for e-com. This is what I recommend for lead gen. It's slightly different. I work with both e-com and lead gen clients. I have specific experience across both industries. Okay, so the first one is going to be very similar. Total website visitors and product page website visitors. Again, if you don't have all the data to make 1,000 people in your list, then you won't be able to upload it to Google. So I recommend using this. Next one I recommend to use is your full customer list. Okay. After that, again, if you don't have like specific customers, one thing you can do is your leads. If you have leads that are classified as marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads, populate these into a list and upload them to Google. If you're using a CRM like HubSpot, you can connect it automatically, and this is live. I love using live lists. They're the best things to come from Google updates. So try and use these as best as possible. Try and see if your CRM can connect to Google Ads and has the ability to create live lists because it's so handy. So the next one I have is specific product customer lists. If you have multiple products, then you want to be more specific with some of the asset groups you may be using. So you want to be more specific with the customer lists you upload to that, because you want the algorithm to go on to find people who are similar to the product purchases of the product you're wanting to sell. Okay, so that's one thing to use. Next thing, and I've had some experience using these, is segmenting your customer lists into 3 different sections. So the first one being high value customers. So the best value, similar to this, it'd be like the top 25% of spenders for your e-com store. You're sort of segmenting it a similar way for your lead generation PMAX here. Then you have a mid-value customers, then you have low-value customers. Now, it's not to say that high-value customers is always going to be the best, because I've found out that using all three of these in separate asset groups actually performs quite similar. Okay, you might have different tiers of people who spend in your stores, and people who are high value customers may spend a lot, but there may not be a huge amount of volume there. Okay, so this is why you want to segment them out and test all three. Do not write something off before you've tested it, especially with Google Ads. Okay, so that is my recommendations is exactly what I use with clients. And I'm giving it to you for free. Okay, so go away and use that as best as you can, and try and use live lists from email marketing software like Klaviyo, MailChimp, or your CRM like HubSpot.